Good evening, everybody, and welcome to our second All-Star Real Estate Rocking Panel for 2018. How's everybody doing tonight? Come on, guys. We've got this awesome panel of guys sitting up here. We've got wine. We've got an assortment of cheeses. Can we give them a little better than that? How's everybody doing tonight? That's mostly for the cheese guys, sorry. My name is Wayne Clements, and I am a realtor here at Keller Williams Realty Centers, and I do have the pleasure of being the moderator for tonight's event, so thank you. On behalf of the audience, or behalf of our office, I just wanted to thank you guys for coming. If you're not from KW, it's nice to see that none of you have burst into flames now that you're actually sitting in the office. And we have laced all of the wine and all of the water with the Kool-Aid. So if you're starting to feel happier and you're all of a sudden you go, wow, I want to move my office here. It's working. But seriously, thanks for coming. We are going to have some fun tonight. We have an awesome panel, and guaranteed you guys are going to leave here tonight with something you can take away and you can apply to your real estate business. You're going to learn something, and these guys they're rock stars. So a couple of housekeeping items to keep in mind as we move forward. Bathrooms are just around the corner. There's 2 more downstairs. Wine and cheeses in the hallway. We'd ask that your cell phones please be turned off or put on mute. We have a serious fine that goes along with a phone that rings. How much do KW cares if a phone rings? 50 bucks to the charity.
25 to my kitchen fund and 5 to KW.
Right, that's fair. I love that. And we will be taking a break shortly after 8 o'clock. So if you need to recharge your glass and grab a few more snacks to use the washrooms, just ask that maybe if you can stay in your seat while it's going on. If you can do that, minimize the moving about. That would be awesome. So. It is my pleasure to introduce our esteemed panel of gentlemen. So in no particular order, we have Wei Hwa. So Wei is a real estate broker and investor. Wei began his real estate career in 2010 while still in school, completing his undergrad at University of Toronto. With nothing to lose, he began investing every dollar he made from his sales back into his business and his clients. It was all or nothing. And by 2015 and 2016, Wei became one of the top 5% at C21 in Canada. Today, you can clap for that. Today, he's established a privately owned satellite office in Keswick and another upcoming under construction in Sutton. Under Wei's leadership, a team was formed in 2017 to provide clients with the highest quality of service possible, and there's never downtime. His clients get his full service around the clock. They take to heart every client that selects him as their broker of choice of thousands of agents. And in return, his team ensures the most important transaction is taken care of with the utmost care and diligence. Welcome, Wei. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, Andrew Ipekian. Andrew is a Toronto native. Andrew attended high school at St. Andrew's College in Aurora before completing a degree in economics at Queen's University. After shining in the corporate world of sales and marketing at Pitney Bowes Canada, he decided to put the expertise and abilities learned to use in private real estate. In his first year of real estate, he was Rookie of the Year across 28 countries at Keller Williams Worldwide, breaking previous records in this category. He is now ranked in the top 5 brokers in the country for the last several years in a row and was recipient of the 2017 Keller Williams International Highest Sales Recognition Award. Ranked #1 real estate broker in the GTA with 138 homes sold in 2017, he regularly appears as a coach and speaker at international realty conferences around the world. Welcome, Andrew. Jay's entrepreneurial spirit, salesmanship, and innovative marketing ideas started early, having many successful small businesses even as a kid. One example was his window cleaning company, Class Window Cleaners, where he wore tuxedo tails while cleaning windows. Wow. Did you really?
I did.
All the time, every day?
Every day.
Oh, that's awesome. They're like men in kilts, right? They stole that idea from you. You ought to go after them. The company's logo was?
The Class Do Your Glass.
The Class Do Your Glass. Awesome. Jay began his real estate career working with a friend, and with a strong, honest brand, an incredible team, and a lot of hope, J. Miller Real Estate Limited opened in September of 2013. To this day, everyone at J. Miller Real Estate works together as a team. The J. Miller team became the #1 selling team in all of York Region in 2015 and again in 2016. The team has also been the #1 selling team in Newmarket since 2011 and one of the top selling teams on the Toronto Real Estate Board. Welcome, J. Miller. All right, buckle up. I have to turn this one sideways. I'll start in 2010. So Marvin Alexander, Triple Platinum Award winner 2010. Platinum Award winner 2011, 14, 15, and 16. Double Platinum Award winner in 2012, 2013, 2017. In 2008, #1 individual for worldwide for Keller Williams International for units sold. From 2010 to 2016, #1 individual for Keller Williams Canada for units sold. 2013 was #1 individual worldwide Keller Williams units sold. 2014, Real Trends ranked Marvin #4 realtor out of all realtors from all real estate companies in Canada for volume, #4. In 2014, Real Trends ranked Marvin #1 realtor out of all realtors from all companies in Canada for transactions. In 2017, they were #1 team worldwide for Keller Williams International, selling 257 units that year. From 2015 to 2017, Marvin was the Canadian Director of Keller Williams Canada. From 2009 to present, Marvin is the President of Keller Williams Realty Centers. And from 2016 to present, he is also the President of Keller Williams Integrity Realty in Ottawa. So thank you, Marv. Welcome.
I think the rest of us can leave the room now.
Yeah. Drop the mic.
No point.
So how many of you out there going, wow? Like I'm going, wow. Wow, wow. Yeah. So there is a tremendous amount of knowledge and success sitting in front of us all. And thank you guys very much for taking the time out of your busy schedules, your busy lives, and sharing with us here that evening. We're truly blessed. Thank you. So let's get right into it. I'd like you guys, the first question is, explain the makeup of your business, and if applicable, what your team looks like, and perhaps you can touch on your production in any niche markets you may serve. Jay, you want to go first?
Sure.
What's your structure look like for your team?
Well, I do things a little different. I'm a boutique brokerage, right? So I'm independent. So I don't do it like everybody else. That's why, I don't have, the corporate structure to answer to, so I have complete autonomy, so I do what I want. It's kind of good that way. And we do what we want. The truth is, we're a team, we're a family, right? So it's not about competition, it's about contribution. It's even before we start, guys, with all of this stuff, I just want to say to you, I've been on many panels and I've been at many panels, and I'm going to tell you, the takeaway is 10% of you will get 10% content and you'll implement 10% of it. I'm telling you, because the most important thing you need to do is not copy people. Be authentic. Because if I give you a script and it's not authentic to you, you won't be able to sell it the same way. Or you will modestly. You'll never be a huge selling realtor. You'll never be $1 million real estate person. You just won't, because it's not authentic. I got to say that right off the top. So taking that and then applying what we're going to talk about tonight is huge. Because a lot of people come to these things and it's like, well, what can I take? What can I copy? Essentially, right? What can I copy? It's like, that is a recipe for modest success. You'll sell some stuff because you're just taking canned stuff and using it. But you'll never get explosive success because you're not authentic, man. People know when you're authentic. So whatever you learn, you got to make it yours. And even better than that, you got to dig deep and make it something special. Contribute to people, right? That's what it's about. It's not about, it can't even be about money. Can't. And I know it's I want to make more money. It can't. So I got to start with that. So real quickly, I'd rather say that to you guys, because these kind of panels and that, they're great, but they're not powerful unless you guys take something from it. You need to learn and make it your own. You need to dig deep. You need to know yourself. right? Understand who you are and then make it your own. I mean that. That is the core. The rest of it is just all you build on that. So quickly, I was at Remax, I was the top guy locally, and we were a team, and then I decided I didn't like it, so then I went over and I opened my own company, and we're still a team, and so the boutique brokerage runs as a team, and it's awesome. We're totally a family, and we're just like a wolf pack. We just cruise through. Very authentic, very original, and that's what we do.
Cool. And can you give us just a quick sort of org chart and organizational chart?
Sure,
So there's you
I'm
and admin.
Huge admin heavy. I got lots of admin people.
How many?
I got so most companies where you got 8, 10 admin, 100 agents. I got 8 admin. We got 12 agents.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So it's about support. It's about everything is just like laid out, really at a high level, very high level, very high quality standards.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So Andrew, a little bit about what your team looks like and if you guys have a niche market?
So each agent, we're I'm dating a couple agents at the moment on the team, meaning interviewing, that's what we call it, dating. I'm actually married, so I'm not dating, in any case. So dating a couple agents at the moment. We have 6 selling agents, 2 dating at the moment, and then also 2 admin, plus myself.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And Wei, your structure?
Team, I'm a team of 3, so I have 1 buyer agent, and she focuses mostly in the Durham region, and so there's one buyer agent, and then I have 1 full-time assistant.
Okay, cool. Marv, do you have some kind of flow chart that we could make this easy?
Can you hear okay? Is this all right?
Yeah.
The mic? Okay. So, for me, it's a very different, and always has been a very different model. So, if you were to search like on IMS or something, you'd be like, flip like 10 pages until you find me, probably. So, my model has always been very different. And when I started in the business, I realized I needed, as Jay's saying, something that's very authentic and very, very proprietary, really, to me. So, I do a lot of land development. So, I have that aspect of my business as a niche market. I also represent some major clients. Mankey's Developments happens to be one of them. So I have 2 people that work at each new home sales site. So some years I have as many as 1,000 houses for sale. And sometimes in strong markets, several hundred of those will sell in just 1 year. So 2 people in each new home site. Land development that finds and procures the land for those sites at a later time. So I get both ends of that equation. And then on the resale side, I have one agent that works with me and 1 full-time assistant. And then, of course, the companies and the buildings and all that other stuff.
All the rest of the stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, thank you. Maybe I'll direct this to Marv and Jay just because they've been in the business a little longer than you guys, with all respect. So if you got to go back to the beginning of your careers, knowing what you know now, is there something you would have done differently?
I would have joined Jay's band instead of his band is a lot better than my band.
I don't know.
For me, I hope you don't mind me jumping in, Jay. For me, the one thing I would do differently is I would have hired an assistant sooner. So I hired my first assistant 5 years in the business, and I get that's not an easy thing to do. You feel responsible for that person's livelihood and outcome. There's an expenditure consideration as well. But I will tell you, if Lori was in the room right now, she'd tell you, I don't know how to load a listing. I never have loaded a listing. I can't even remember how to do it. I don't know how to do all the fundamental things you probably do each day because I don't need to know those things. I concentrate on really high-level activities. So he's up there smiling right now and saying, he's a complete idiot. He is. Wait a minute. Okay, that's enough. Yeah. So for me, it would be hire an assistant sooner. I think that it's very liberating, and not to take too long with my turn to speak, but what I would say is I always encourage people to do the exercise where you follow yourself around for an entire week and write down your activities every 15 minutes, and then at the end of the week, analyze whether those activities are 100, 200, 500,000, $1 million production activities, or whether they're really administrative in nature. And really the key thing is to concentrate on the high-level activities, and the only way to do that, guys, is to have administrative help. So that would be my answer. I would have definitely started with administrative help much sooner than 5 years in.
I think that's good advice.
Thanks.
I probably would have done the same thing. I don't really regret how I went through it. It was a little bit like, you know, tougher, guys, but I remember consciously trying to be coachable. Because a lot of people dig their heels and it's like, well, you know, like, I'm going to do it my way. It's cool. Thanks so much, but I'm going to do it my way. And that's cool. Like, so I've sold thousands of homes and you've sold 7. Like, you know what I mean? Being coachable, it means like you listen and I did that. Like, I helped people, like other realtors. And I listened and I absorbed. It was really important to me to be coachable. So I don't regret a lot. Some of those things like Marv was saying I think was important too. I waited too long because you're afraid of, like, you know, if I get an assistant and I've got this responsibility of this person and all that stuff. It's like, you know, do it. Right? They're not your child. You know what I mean? You do it. You've got somebody there. You got to qualify them. You got to learn how to hire. Because that can be difficult, right? And remember all the HR rules and all that crazy stuff. But, right, Mike? Good assistant? All right, brother. So, you know, so it's, you know, it is, I think that's a key one that everybody could take away. But the being coachable thing, I got to tell you, it's like we have this ego. We get into real estate, it's like now we kind of want to be like this guy or this gal, right? We want to do this thing. And it's like step back off that, like, you know, contribute to people, be coachable, learn a lot. Like every day when you wake up, just be, you know, like look around, look for signs, look for things that are telling you stuff, and then just move through that and feed off of it, right? I know that sounds really high sort of foo-foo stuff, but it is true. It is true.
That's cool. Andrew, Wei, you guys have anything to add to that? Anything you would have done different 3-4 years ago?
The assistant,
yeah.
I would have got the assistant earlier.
Yeah, okay.
Myself, I'd probably get more involved in the community sooner from day one.
Right.
Because I find I've done that more so in the past 2 years. If I did that from day one, I think my penetrating into the new Georgina market would be a lot easier.
Right.
It's a good one too.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That is a good one. You know what?
Yeah.
Get in your community, help people out, right?
Yeah, it's good.
And if you're gonna sponsor something, sponsor the whole thing. Like, just pay for it. Like, I know it's like I paid for stuff when I had no money. No money. I was like twin boys, no dough. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like, just like I'm telling you, you gotta go for it. Nothing happens unless you really go for it. It's true.
I'm going to let Mike know that you've got the dinner at the next 100 Men Who Give a Damn.
No,
You're
that's
good?
right.
All right. And actually, I think the next event sounds like a battle of the bands between you guys. I think that's where we're going next.
No, we wanted to do it.
You want to do it together?
Yeah, we never did play together.
Okay, what's been the biggest lesson that you've learned in your career, Andrew?
Loaded question, for sure. Now that market has shifted, sometimes it's not great to take the listing. So, you know, before, when I first started, I would take everything and anything that moved. And now it's, you know what, I'd rather not waste every waking second and every weekend open housing on something that will not sell. So you often find in today's market, it's good to be somebody's sloppy seconds or sloppy thirds. What I mean by that is being the second or third agent in. So if I'm against a listing appointment and I'm against Jay, and Jay says, oh, the house is worth $2 million, and I say it's worth 1.7 max, I'm saying, well, give it to Buddy Jay. And then like let him take it, and then, you know, waste all his time marketing in it and blah blah blah, and then 6 months later, oh, our agent's crap, he couldn't sell, he didn't market this, Andrew, we should have gone with you, and I take it back at 1.7, and then the house sells. So what I'm trying to say is that's you know, just because you lose a listing doesn't mean you really lost. It's it's more about doing the right thing. Better for the client and better for you.
Cool. Wei? Biggest lesson you've learned in your career?
Don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. In the beginning, you get frustrated for every listing that you miss out, and you just now you walk in and walk out, whatever. You give it your best shot. And like you said, now when I'm marketing, I like to go after the ones that are already listed before, expired or canceled listings, because the market's a little bit different now. So, and that's usually when the homeowners are a little bit more soft. At first they're saying, "Oh, we don't have to sell. You know, we're gonna stay here until we get the price that we want." And the next thing you know, they want to sell. So
Motivation changes. Who's heard that? I don't have to sell. I don't have to move.
Bring me an offer.
Wow. Yeah. Marv, biggest lesson you've learned in your career?
Yeah, I think there's kind of two. So the first I would say is it's more important to give than it is to take. And what I find that we tend to do as realtors is we're always looking to take the listing, you know, give me. And what I have found is that if you're giving in nature, you're out there giving information, you're giving of yourself, your contributory, all of those things, it'll reciprocate back to you tenfold. So I think that it's a mindset shift where you're coming from a place of contribution, and I think that's probably the most important part of the lesson. And as a result of that, I'm telling you, the money will follow, everything will work out. And the second part of it is I like a consultative approach much better than a sales approach. I believe that we're dealing with people's lives, we're dealing with typically their biggest investment, and we should conduct ourselves like consultants rather than salespeople. So I think that would be the answer I would give to that.
Cool. Jay? Biggest lesson you've learned?
Marvin's answer so much I forgot the question.
Biggest lessons you've learned?
I think it's along the same lines as Marv. I mean, a lot of what I do is in that headspace, guys. It's like it's not about the money, and I know people go, "Oh, it's not about the money, eh?" But the truth is, once you make a bunch of money, it's not your fulfillment. There's a lot of people out there that have made a lot of money that are unfulfilled, that are down, that are depressed, that are, you know what I mean? Like you there's an emptiness to it. And then for some people, it's not like, give me lots of money, that's it, I'm fulfilled. Okay, and that's cool. Like, you know, to each his own. But for me, it's about that contribution. It's true. If you're going into a listing appointment, this is great to speak to what all the guys have said. You're going in and you know you're competing with 5 guys. Okay, they've had in George and Susie and this guy and that guy, and I know this guy lies and this guy disparages me and this happens and that happens, right? And you're going in and you've got this whole, you're like worked up, right? You're hyper tense. Just forget about it, man. Like go in and think of them. Look at them in the eyes and think of them and give them the right advice. I have told many people not to sell their home when they were like, we're not going with anybody but you, Jay. We're not interviewing. That's it. I want to sign. I have a pen. I'm ready to go. And I'm going, you should not sell your house. Your idea for what you want to do is bad. You're doing a lateral move. You're doing this. You're doing that. Things that are just bad for them. And you walk away. You'll get 10 deals for that because it's just you're doing the right thing for people. So that's the biggest lesson probably.
That's cool. I promise not to disparage you anymore.
Thanks, guys.
I didn't think you knew.
Thanks.
So in business, we constantly hit ceilings, right? We're always growing and we constantly hit ceilings. So in your careers, when you guys have hit ceilings, what have you done to move past those ceilings? Wei?
I try to focus more on community involvement, and yeah, just get out there more as much as you can, and yeah.
Okay.
That's very good.
Marv, what do you do to move past ceilings? Through.
Well, okay, so a couple of things. I think that first of all, it's important to compartmentalize every day. So if you have a really wonderful day, that is awesome. Compartmentalize that day. And then the next day you're starting all over again. Conversely, if you have a really terrible day, and things don't go well, compartmentalize that day and move on to the next day. And the reason I say that is because if you live in the glory of yesterday, the next day and the day after that, you're going to find you're kind of waning. And if you dwell on the terrible experience of the previous day, you can get in a downward spiral. So to get to the next level, I think in whatever part of your business you're in, you have to compartmentalize the day. You know, enjoy the successes and compartmentalize as well the defeats, if you will. So that's part of it. And I think the next thing is that we all have a sort of a natural ceiling of achievement. And this is exactly how you break through to the next level. But to Jay's point at the very beginning, and I did like what you said, Jay, is that, you know, if you come out, like education without implementation is a waste of everybody's time. So if you're going to come here and you're going to, or anywhere else for that matter, and take little tidbits away and implement them, good for you. So my suggestion would be that to get to the next level, you only have a certain natural ceiling of ability. You have to seek out information from other people that have had maybe various successes in other areas or various levels of success, if you will, whatever that means, and take from that and then implement into your own business, your own way. Again, similar to what Jay said at the very beginning. So that's what I would say.
Cool. Through coaching or mentorship or whatever that might be.
All those things, yes. Absolutely.
Very cool. It's kind of that 24-hour was kind of like talking to a ref, right? Or talking to a coach after a game, right?
Yeah.
Don't talk to the coach for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Just only dwell on that moment for 24 hours. So Jay, how about you? What do you guys do? What do you do to move through a ceiling?
Well, I take a look at I take a look at myself. Normally, if I'm not moving up, and a lot of my career has been significant jumps, 50%, 100%, 200%, like every year. It's because I'm not doing something that is making me inspired. And I know, once again, guys, people go, well, you should knock more doors or you should make more calls. And that's all true. That's all true. You will, if you do that functioning real estate agent activity, but if you're super stoked, right? If it's the shittiest, rainiest day, right? But you get the best news, you're in a good mood, right? If you didn't get that news, you might be, oh, I'm a little melancholy today. That's how you feel, right? But you get this great news. So you need to do, that's you being inspired. You're happy about something, right? It's put you there. So I always try to find something that will give me that, right? And for me, I do a lot of charity work and a lot of things that contribute to people. I love helping my sales partners have like life-altering success, and I've done it a bunch of times, and it's so fulfilling for me to know that somebody is now in a completely different lifestyle because you've helped them, through situational coaching and true mentorship. That, like, I love that. So I'll get right into that. Like, I'll look at the sales partners and I'll say, like, who's where, like, how can I elevate them? Like, this person's really looking good. And then now now they're going to do better, therefore the company's going to do better, and now we're going to break through a ceiling. We're going to do it together, right? So this is the kind of stuff that I do to really make a day-to-day functioning step to get through a ceiling. My phone calls are, I still make more phone calls, or here's a good one, guys. If you're going to make a bad phone call, make 10. So you got to call the seller, you got the shitty price, so just call them all. Right? Call them all, line them up, and just boom, 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 right? Get it done.
Eat the frog.
Yeah,
right.
Damn straight, man.
Yeah.
So a couple things.
Awesome. Do any of you have coaches? Have you had coaches in the past or have coaches now?
I had Coach Ken for a little while. I did a couple did a little bit of coaching with him, maybe 8 months.
Okay. Good. Andrew, do you have a coach?
No.
No. Wait.
I've attended a few Kathleen Black.
Okay.
So for me, for 2.5 years, it was John Davis was my coach.
Pretty good coach.
So for those who are not from Keller Williams, John Davis is the CEO and president of Keller Williams. So I was accountable to him, which is about as high as he can go. So a lot of the techniques that we've employed in brokerage most recently, I have learned from John. So yes.
Cool.
That's actually a great question. For those of you who feel like I don't need that, I'm great. Like, I know how to sell, I know how to close and all that stuff. I don't need a coach, I don't know that stuff. You should reconsider it. You should reconsider it, even for accountability and all those variables. It can be very powerful with the right combination.
Andrew?
I should. The only coaching I have done is, I don't know if you guys are familiar, those who are with Keller Williams or not. There's those family reunions and mega camps. So I've attended all those, or many of them I should say, but then Gary Keller has a mastermind that I get invited to a couple times a year. So I fly down to that, and then you mastermind with other agents all across the world. I think it's Gary Keller's top 100 agents. So,
Is that a couple of days? Is that a day? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's there for 2 days.
Cool.
And, you really learn a lot, not necessarily always in the class, but you learn outside the class when you're having a beer with someone and he's from Texas or she's from California or this guy's from Mexico or she's from France, and you're finding out what other people doing in different markets, and you commonly find that the same problem you have is the same problem someone else has in a different part of the world. And then you soon realize how blessed you are to work in the Toronto market compared to other places. We're like, yeah, I can't sell this house, it's $350,000, and I'm pulling out my hair, like I'd never sell something for $350, it's crazy. And here, oh yeah, it's $1 million or $2 million bucks, and it's different. Or people you find are working in London, England, and there's no buyer's agent, everyone goes direct. Mm-hmm. So it's just a different way in how that deal is not really sold until it closes. So you could buy that deal in London, England, and 2 days before, sorry, I changed my mind, I don't want it anymore. Mm-hmm. So you realize how good you actually have it, and one of the benefits of Keller Williams is you see how other people work in different markets. So I'd highly recommend that. If you don't have a coach, just say, oh, I don't want to spend the money in a coach, or I'm not sure yet. If you attend one of these conferences, you'll go and hear other agents who sell, a lot of homes, thousands of homes a year, and you'll see how they do it.
Yeah. I think when you start talking with U.S. agents, they hear about us in terms of, once we're firm until the day of close, and they just marvel at that. They want that so bad, because then they go to the closing table and there's more negotiation deals come apart down there far more often. So yeah, they just marvel at our real estate. At KW, we often refer to the big why. The big why is why you're doing what you're doing and what motivates you to do what you're doing. So the question is, what were your goals and your big why when you started in real estate, and are they different now? Marv?
Well,
now that you've got a glass of wine? Yeah, that was the first big why.
That was awesome.
That's been consistent, right, that glass of wine?
Yeah. It's interesting. So everybody has different backgrounds. Everybody started different ways. And for me, I grew up tough, quite frankly, in Toronto. I grew up in an area some of you may know. It's called Flemington Park. So a lot of subsidized housing and tough stuff going on. So that's where I grew up. For the longest time, I raised my 3 kids on my own. I actually had a trailer that we lived in Bracebridge, and we commuted down to Newmarket and back to Bracebridge for quite some time. And so pretty humble beginnings, for sure. I mean, that's how things started. Sorry, give me the question again.
The question was, what was your big why when you started? Yeah.
It's the why.
Here, I'll just put it on the table.
Yeah, no, I think I'm okay now. I can't see it anyways.
Lori, will you read it for him?
So the big why for me initially was really just survival, quite frankly. And I remember my vision board was to buy a brand new car. And when I bought, and you're going to laugh a little bit, but when I bought that brand new Mercury Sable, I thought I was like, I'm going to heaven, right? Because initially I had a car that used to have to, when I was in first years in real estate, you have to start, had a carburetor, and you have to pop the hood, and then undo the air filter, and then stick a screwdriver and pliers in to open the choke to start the car, right? So it would always be like when I was doing showings in the winter, I'd keep the car running all the time. I couldn't turn it off. and clients would say, what are you doing? I was like, oh no, I just want to be nice and warm. Right? Conversely, the summertime for air conditioning, I was at the park like 3 blocks away for listing appointments because I couldn't let them see me starting the car with the screwdriver on myself. So the reality is, my big why at the beginning was really just survival. And then, but what's kind of cool is that when you're in it, you don't really realize it. But when you reflect back on, previous years, big whys, and what were really big dreams for you then, compared to maybe now, it's a very rewarding feeling, right? So I have 3 kids, 30, 27, 25. My oldest daughter's an osteopath who practices in Ottawa. My middle daughter's just finishing up to be a plastic surgeon. She's doing rotations in Miami. And my son's got a big media production gig out in Vancouver. And who knew, right? So I guess the point is, if your burning desire or your big why, as we say at Keller Williams, is strong enough, then you can accomplish anything you want. There is no limit. You're your only limit, I guess is the best way I would put it. And I know I'm a little passionate about that answer, and maybe it's because of the extra glass of wine, I don't know, but it really does mean a lot to me because it was a huge motivator for me. And even this brokerage, the whole reason I did this and built the company was to help create, opportunities for other people. And everything from build millionaires to build bigger and better lives for everybody around you, and it's really important. So that's it.
Very cool. Thank you. So Jay, what was your big why when you started, and has it changed at all?
You know, truthfully, it's funny because yeah, it changed. It was money. Straight up, I needed dough, right? Similar to Marv, humble backgrounds, but I won't get into the childhood stuff. But when my wife and I lived in a 700 square foot home, she came home and told me we were having twins, right? So I was like, yeah. So I'm pretty easy going, but like, you know how it actually went, just because it's kind of funny. She holds me the ultrasound, she holds it up to me, and I go, yeah, I know what an ultrasound is. Like, I'm not an idiot, you know. She goes, no, A and B, shithead, you know, like. So I go, right, okay. Even I leaned against the counter. Anyway, so I needed money. I had the twins coming. So that was it. It was money. And then like, first client would switch like that. Because you're there, you're with them. It was just like, holy cow, right? I met this great couple. And they were really tight for scratch. And I could relate. And it was so important to them. And it was just this huge thing that we went through together to get them this house. And so my big why started with money, and it instantly turned into the people. So just like boom, and that was it. Now it's grown into the things I told you about you know, the situational coaching, the mentorship, and the helping like other people have life, you know, transformations through, you know, working together, partnering up.
Cool, thank you. Andrew, big why a few years back, big why now. Has it changed much?
So I think my why is very similar, more or less identical to everyone else's why. You know, you want to provide for your family and do a good job, and for yourself and for your clients. And first starting out, you realize, yeah, partly money motivated, and I never really chased money, I'd say. I chased the glory. It was more about winning and doing well for my client. And then now, since I have a team, my why is my team. So I kind of look at things a little differently. Is that they don't work for me, I work for them to make them successful and to make them better and to make their lives better. So once it's, you know, a little bit mainly it's your family when you first start out, or yourself for your own benefit. And then when you get a family, which is the second family, which is the team members, you really work towards them and making them successful. So that's been my why lately.
Cool. Wei?
My idol growing up, believe it or not, was Donald Trump. And so, anyways,
you just lost half the room, or more.
and your clients.
Not for political reasons, but
there's a niche market there.
I started off working for a PMA, which is a new home sales brokerage. I started off as a receptionist, just typing away. And then I realized, you know, the homes were selling really quick. The condos were selling really quick. I wanted to buy some of these projects myself from the little money that I had, but deposit structures were so spread out, you know, a little 5% every year at the time. So I'm like, you know, I can afford this. And then I wanted to get into that one project. I called a real estate agent, but that real estate agent, that connection was already made because I worked for Monarch at the time, well, under Monarch. So I was able to get in, but they pay agents commission. So I had to call this agent in to bring him in so he could get a commission, so I can get a little bit of a kickback. So I'm thinking, you know what? I have these connections already. Why do I need to go out there and call an agent in so he can get half the commission and, you know, without doing a thing? So I decided to get my license, and I started off selling pre-construction and slowly moved away from that. But that's where I started off. And then later on, once I have enough money, it was a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle choice because I really believe being a real estate agent is a lifestyle choice. It's hard. It's hard to have a system. It's got to be naturally in you. It's got to be a routine. If you follow a system list, I was talking to one of our top agents in our company at the time. I said, "How do you do it?" So she showed me her script. She was making a $1.4 million commissions, and I'm thinking, you give me $5 million, I still won't do what she's doing. There's no way. It's impossible. Like, she's very systematic, and I can't do that. That's not my lifestyle. So I think it's a lifestyle choice that you're able to mold that fits yourself, and there's money to be made, financial security as well.
All right, cool. The underlying message there is build a world big enough that the people in your world can build a world big enough that they want, right? Which is very cool and very commendable, so thank you. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Jay, how are you generating leads?
I'm generating, say, like, guys, flyers, ads, social media, website, signs. But here's the thing about it. The thing about it is, like, and also people just call us. Like, we just get lots of calls that just come in. Sometimes I can't even track it down. They just know us. Very strong brand. Very, very connected to the community. And so, yeah, like, you know, of course there's the repeat and referral stuff as well. There's all of that. But, yeah, a lot of, like, we just get, like, sometimes I don't even put stuff out. And the calls are better than when I do. So, again, like, here's the thing. So I say put out flyers. So you put out flyers, it costs you a lot of money, right? Flyers are expensive. But what is the flyer? This is where I get into the authenticity. So it says, call me for a complimentary home evaluation, and you're like, it's just like, who cares? Like, you just wasted $5 grand or $2 grand or whatever it is you spend. As far as I'm concerned, you just wasted it, right? To bang your head against Facebook constantly, don't get me wrong. And like, here's the thing. A few years ago, there was this thing going around. Your smile is your business card. Your personality is your trademark. There was this whole thing. You guys remember that one? It was like out on Facebook. And I was like, it's true. Like, it's true to do 7 deals. And that might be okay if you want to do 7 deals. But the truth is, you got to be authentic. Like, everything you do has to be where it's brilliant and authentic to you on all of those different platforms. So, like, that's something that, like, maybe a coach can help you with, or somebody can help you with, where, you know, you can push it to the next level. And the other thing you have to realize is not everybody's a great marketer. You could be an amazing salesman, amazing. Like, when you're one-on-one with somebody, they're sold. But you're not a great marketer. I've seen it, like, I see it all the time, actually. It's just, that's not your thing. So you got to figure out what it is that's going to work for you. I know guys that door knock like animals, and they kill because they're one-on-one. Like, flyers, social media, all that stuff is just crap for them. If they knock 1,000 doors, they get a listing or 2, right? So you gotta again, once again, I say it, it's all the building blocks on your authenticity, because you can spend a lot of dough and not be successful. I've seen it tons of times. So yeah, I kind of do everything, right? And sometimes I don't do it. Sometimes I do more of it. Sometimes I push here and there. I'm a creative. So my background is I had a recording contract before I became a realtor. How's that for weird, right? So I'm a creative. So I love to create, right? I love to do things that are creative. So the marketing thing just flows for me, right? Other people are better salesmen than me. They could sell me something, no problem, right? They're one-on-one. You got to figure that out. What works for you.
Okay.
So the marketing thing works for me.
Okay, primarily marketing. Okay, cool. Andrew, where are you guys generating your leads?
So Jay thinks you guys all have an identity crisis now. Being authentic. But no, it's actually, to his point, it's very true. You know, you can't be me, you can't be Jay, you can't be anybody. You just be you and do what you do best. To answer your question, where we're getting our leads, a lot of it is through referral. So a lot of it is, you know, friends, past clients, you know, and also is the amount of flyers that we send out on a monthly basis. They're in the tens of thousands. So that gets us business. We do some online, nothing bananas, you know, because I've found over the last few years, everyone and their mother's also online, so that market is kind of saturated. And so if you're not really honing in and targeting a lot and spending a lot of time on the line, because a lot of your online leads are generally crap, they come through, or they're like fake numbers or fake email addresses, so they're really chased down. But if you do a flyer and you get a call in, well, then that's something different. Then you're probably your quality's much better. Although you could do a flyer and get nothing at the end of the day. The other leads, you know, we do a lot of events. client events that we hold for our clients. So that's worked well, and lots of customer appreciation, community involvement, and a lot of networking on that aspect as well, just meeting people at functions, charity functions. We do a lot of charity work. So they're all gamuts. It's not necessarily business related, but you find it through, another area.
No phones, no door knocking?
We definitely phone and door knock.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But those are table stakes.
We actually
Right.
don't. We don't do any door knocking.
No.
I wish they would. Like I keep thanking.
They're better inside, Jay.
No.
It's warm there.
You often find that people who are the biggest on social media have no social skills. It's very true. They won't pick up the phone. They won't call you. They'll just respond by text. It's like they hide behind their phone. And at the end of the day, I don't care how good you are on social media. If I meet a client face to face, I'm going to win against the other person who's hiding behind the screen. So, you could have a billboard up, you could have a postcard, you could have anything. At the end of the day, if someone meets you and they like you, they're probably going to choose you. Because, you're just some other face and you're amongst other 50,000 other agents out in the marketplace.
Cool. Wei, how are you generating your leads?
For me, it's mostly community events and public exposure as much as possible. Wherever I can be in public, go out. Think of yourself almost like a politician. Every time there's a grand opening, go help out, whatever it is, help out. Food pantry, help out as much as you can. And for me, it's more not so for publicity, but for people to know that I speak English. So, all my signs. All my signs have my picture on it, not because I look pretty. It's because people think even my accounting department, they thought I was a girl. For 5 years, they thought I was a girl. And then I walked in, they said, "Ooh, we have a boy." For the longest time. So for me, it's they can feel you, they can touch you, they can talk to you, and recognize who you are, and you actually speak the language. So once I tell them, hey, I can speak English, then tell them that I like to give more of an advisory role rather than a salesperson pitch. So I don't like to hand out business cards. They already see my sign, they see who I am. So I like it when clients ask for the business card. I don't like to hand out business cards. It's different. It's like meeting a really good lawyer. They don't go around handing out business cards or just throw them in the washroom stalls. Once you get their business card, like, wow, it's got a cell phone number on it too. Holy smokes! Like it's one up. So I like community events because just for that plain reason. And for me, being in the small town community, it was difficult getting in. It was very hard. Being non-Caucasian, it was very hard. So getting out there, talking to people, and now, believe it or not, the public perception is if they want to sell anything to the agents, there's only one guy to call. So we had one deal. That very good client of mine, till today, she's still a very good client of mine. She's surrounded. She grew up with at least 50 to maybe 75 agents around her. She called me. I said, "Why did you call me? Is it because I'm Asian?" She said, "You got it right on." We didn't know who else to call. So from that day on, I use that as to my advantage in a small town. Maybe move to the next small town. Who knows?
Okay. We actually almost had a translator come tonight. And Maureen said, "It's okay. We're good. He's good." Marv, where are you getting your leads from?
The Wei said something about
You're late.
touching. He's a male. Exposing himself in public.
He is a Trump fan.
There was a whole So I understand where you get your business. That's awesome. Okay. So here's the thing. My way is a little bit different, as everyone heard earlier on. I have new home sites and past clientele and referral is a big part of the business. There's also, we do have some online lead generation stuff, but here's the deal. There's only so many ways you can actually generate some sort of lead. And to Andrew's point, I'm in total agreement. Nothing beats the conversation. You guys have heard me say this lots and lots of times. I think that things like flyers and marketing and door knocking and phone calling and exposing yourself in public and all of those things are all wonderful. However, they're just the mechanism to get to the conversation. And that's really what this is about. So in my personal opinion, if I could give you any one thing to take away, is that you have to reflect on how many meaningful conversations you have a day about real estate. And if you're not having at least 20 meaningful conversations about real estate every day, it's just not going to work. If you reflect back on today and yesterday and so on and so forth, and really truly look at how many meaningful conversations you had face-to-face with somebody about real estate, and then look at what your goal is financially in real estate, do those two things, John. So look, not everything is for everybody, as Jay said earlier. So if you love to talk to people, get out there and talk to people. If you're a marketing expert and you love marketing, then market. But whatever it is, find what you're good at, what you enjoy doing, and make sure it leads to a conversation. Because in the absence of the conversation, everything else is just a waste of time. So that's the way I would sum it up.
Very cool. Thank you. We all know that leads, when we generate them, it's really key that we follow up on leads. So maybe you guys could share with us if you've got a lead follow-up system that you use to track your leads. Andrew, what do you guys use once a lead comes into the office?
We call right away. Pretty easy.
Do you use follow-up bosses or anything other than that?
No,
or
we have follow-up boss, other CRMs we use. I can't even name because the operations manager does it, but we use follow-up boss.
Okay.
In any case, but when a lead comes in, we're on it immediately. We don't wait at all. In fact, if one gets passed off to one of the agents and they don't call within 5 minutes, we don't give them a lead again.
So that's your expectation?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And how does that ball work in terms of in the office? Is there a rotation when a lead comes in? Is there a ball that gets passed?
Certain areas, certain agents have different quadrants of the city that they work in. And so there's specialists in each area they work.
Okay.
And so with that aspect, then they'll get that lead, that sign call, the flyer call, the internet call, or whatever it is.
So it's by area?
Yeah, by area.
Okay, very cool. Wei, what are you doing to follow up on leads?
Every time when I get a phone call that comes through or an email, I'll make notes. Now, just be careful when you save contacts and make notes next to their name, because sometimes when you write an email, it'll show up. So be careful of the notes that you make next to the names. And I call them back and email right away. Always, yeah.
Okay.
As fast as possible, because next thing you know, it's so fast. If you don't call back, next thing you know, they're calling Jay Miller.
Right. From all that marketing.
Yeah.
Right. Marv, do you guys what do you use for?
We called Jay before we got a hold of Wei tonight, So I'm not really the authority on this particular question,
right,
to be very honest with you. If Darren could actually get some leads, I could probably answer. So look, here's the thing. I can tell you though that our method of tracking is pretty straightforward because it's mostly repeat referral business, and it all really funnels down to our administration. So Lori's really good at in a very timely way, relaying to me any inquiries that come in. And for me, it's very important that if they're taking the time to contact us, then I want to get back to them promptly and have a really nice conversation with them. So to me, even though we don't have maybe as many systems in place as some of these amazing realtors to my left, but the one thing we do have is great administration. So when the inquiries come in, Lori's on top of it, and then we just follow up right away. And then we do have top producer and all those things too.
Right. Okay.
Which I don't know how to operate any of those things, but we do have them all, and they take care of all that stuff. So.
Okay. Awesome. Jay, do you guys have what do you use for follow-up?
So, first of all, it depends on the size of your business, guys. But I mean, you can use top producer. You just get a single license and use it. We use top producer. It's a team. Like we're all hooked together. I've used everything over the years, and they're all good and bad. Like they all suck to a certain extent, and then they're good in some ways. Top producer seems okay. I've gone from top producer and come back, but I would say go with top producer. I've used Agent Office. I had a BlackBerry Enterprise server of my own before like anybody else, and that kind of craziness. Then I was the host, where if the server went down, I was the guy that had to go figure it, so I got rid of that. Another thing that's really cheap is Google Apps. So Google Apps is it's like $5 each a month. So say there's 5 or 10 of you, or 3 of you, or whatever, $5 each, okay? And you all just sync to it, but all your emails can be like the team name or the company name or whatever you want it to be. So it all goes from at whatever, right? At WayneClements.com. There's 3 of you on it. You're all there. You share the database. You go in. And it's basically Gmail. You just share a Gmail, right? And you put all your you can do your contacts and your notes in there. That's just a simple one. It's $5 a month each. 3 or 4 of you jump on there, get an administrator, stick it on. We use Top Producer. It's like $30 a month each. And to what the guy said, yeah, a lead comes in, you got to get on it, right? We just have a system where if you don't call within 20 minutes, the leads go to everybody. So the leads go out to everybody, and we get we get a lot of leads. So they go to everybody. So everybody gets it, and somebody's on a lead time, right? So there's all lead times. And it's their opportunity to say that they're on it within 20 minutes. If they are not on it within 20 minutes, then anybody else can just take it. You're toast. You're done. It's always a drag when it's like 1.6 and you had to have that smoke, eh? Had to have that smoke, right? Left the phone upstairs. That was whatever, $20,000 cigarette. So
And the cancer.
yeah, so that's how we do it. And it's pretty simple. It goes out to everybody, and then it defaults, and anybody can grab it after that. And, everybody does.
So that's kind of the guy at the top has the ball, and he's got 20 minutes to answer.
Yeah.
And then when that
first
lead,
right of refusal.
right, and then that bumps down. The next time the lead comes in, the ball moves to the next guy on the list. Is that kind of
Yeah,
how it? Okay,
and,
all right.
well, it's not actually a list. It's a rotating schedule. So say you've got 9 to 11 today, you got 11 to 1, 1 to 3, 3 to 5, and then the next day now it's rotating, so you get different times of the day all the time, right?
That's cool.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a good time? Is there a
No.
best time? No, there's not.
No.
Okay.
And then I do the nights like 9 to 9. I just give the whole night. So
Right.
whatever, right? So if you get the night owl in their underwear with their mouse.
And if they don't answer in 20 minutes in the middle of the night, they're done, right?
No.
They gotta sit up all night?
I gotta tell you about callbacks. For me, we help everybody. Like when we get the shittiest, low level, non-profitable situation, we will help them. We will go and, like today a call came in and they've got a dispute with the neighbor over their fence and they want a letter of opinion, which you really shouldn't give out, by the way. It's sketchy, those things, but illegally. So anyway, I just said, yeah, you swing by on the way to your appointment, right? And see what the problem is, because, just try to help them out. That's it. Like, it's not going to be profitable. Literally, they think it's affecting their real estate value. The neighbor put up a fence. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Anybody, if you need help, we will help you. So we get a lot. Because of the nature of things, we get a lot of things we can just help us as well.
Cool. All right. When we did the panel the last time, when we started talking about database, my aha from the ladies was they were killing it in business just by staying in touch with their databases. And what are you guys doing specially for your database to stay in touch with them? Let me start with you, Jay.
Everything?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, guys, it's pretty easy. There's a billion email softwares that you can use, right? MailChimp and Constant Contact and all these things, right? And you put all your people in and you do a regular, like people call it an e-blast. I call it an email broadcast. I don't like the idea of blasting anybody's email. I know that sounds corny, but I just don't go for that. I like that. Like language to me is really important. How you say something, your intention, things like this are huge, right? So I call it an email broadcast. So you just keep in touch with people that way, as far as email goes, okay? So we have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people on that, right? And thousands and thousands, like tons of people that get stuff from us. And then we have regular past client follow-up. And we do, you do your Christmas cards and you do this and that. We don't really hound people. And that's pretty much it. Like I expect the partners to keep in touch with everybody because we love them. Like we really do. We care about them, right? They become like our extended family, right? So everybody keeps in touch and it's about contribution. And so constantly referrals and calls. But as far as systems, yeah, you put together an email broadcast, some simple stuff like that.
Okay. Thank you. Andrew, what are you guys doing anything special to stay in touch with your database?
The same thing you'll probably be doing also, everything from newsletters to, let's say, a market report. We also segment our database to different types of buyers and sellers and certain people. Some people are in the luxury market, so we have more luxury sort of documentation that goes out in information. So not the same thing for everybody gets the exact same sort of stuff, because we treat all the clients at the same level. However, some clients are first-time home buyers in a condo and try to move up to like a semi or a detached home, and some people are looking to downsize. So we have different segments for those people.
So you tailor your emails and all that stuff to whoever those people are.
Exactly.
Okay.
You have them sort of in blocks.
Okay. Wei?
I like to be more personable, so I'll send text messages, or sometimes I'll find out, every client I make a note, I find out what their hobbies are. So some of the clients I play dodgeball with, I play baseball with, so I'll try to meet with them again, doing it through social events. But at least everybody on my database, at least once a year, I'll be messaging them out to invite to one of our annual parties. So that's for sure everybody on the list, at least once a year. The rest, based on their hobbies, whatever it is. Text message and Facebook messages is what I find more personable. Emails, they find it too businessy, so they don't like that. My clients don't like that. So text message. And so my database is kept through my Gmail. So they have a really cool system and it's free.
Okay, cool.
That's
Marv?
true about text message too. I mean, everybody knows that one, right? I mean, you send an email, and if you're giving some information, that's fine. But if you want to, for some reason, when somebody texts you, it's like you're gonna have a heart attack if you don't reply to that text message. It is weird, right? So it's good that he does that.
Yeah. Marv, you guys do anything special with your database?
I just learned about sexting, by the way. It's not exactly the same as texting. Yeah, you know what? We're actually really concentrating now.
You into that, Marv? Come on.
I got two hands. So, making a joke. Okay, back to the matter at hand and focus. Okay, look, we're really now concentrating on database. So here's some of the things that we're doing. So one of the things is we have a VIP club. So from someone who's either bought from us, sold with us, or referred us business, they get these exclusive VIP cards. So what we've done is we have national discounts and these local merchants. So we're going around, we're just doing the local part of it right now. We're videoing local merchants that we have a relationship with, promoting their company, and by virtue of that, they're also offering a discount on this card. So that's going out to all of our immediate core people. We use Kits, which goes out every month, which is a monthly newsletter. It's very professional. You have the ability to add to it. We have a regular newsletter that goes out quarterly where I write the content. We have calendars that go out in December. We're now starting to run 4 events quarterly for client database, so skating party, the usual kind of stuff, pumpkin giveaway. What are the things? The skating party, pumpkin giveaway, what else? Oh yeah, picnic in the summer, and there's one other thing, I don't remember what it is, but that, whatever that thing is, yeah. So I think the whole idea is really about rewarding people for dealing with you and remaining top of mind. I have not done an excellent job of that along the way, and I would say on an average year I'd probably do 50 deals just from people calling. So my thought is, if I really am looking to build a business that's saleable and that can be transferred and passed on to somebody else, it has to perpetuate itself, and it has to be systematic. So we're implementing those things now. So we have a few other things like that, but that's the general sort of things that we're looking for.
Right. So Andrew, are you guys doing client events, anything along that line?
Sorry, I didn't
okay.
mention that. You forget. You forget, like honestly, you just forget. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I have not
Andrew,
had
you
one
do?
invite from any of you.
I know, man.
I'm just
it's
saying.
coming, bro.
Yeah.
You didn't buy a house from me.
Fair. But,
No, brother.
Marv's trailer's still for sale in Halliburton if you want to. All right, thanks, guys. So why don't we take a quick, how you guys doing? Everybody doing all right? Yeah. It's awesome, right? All right, why don't we take a quick 10-minute break? We'll come back at 8:30. You guys can recharge your wines, hit the washroom, and we'll gather again in 10 minutes. Thank you. And welcome back, guys. Thank you very much. Good first half, right? Awesome job for you guys. Thank you. Okay, so next question is whether you're running a big team or if you're a high-producing single realtor, the biggest challenge, our business comes with challenges. So what's the single biggest challenge you guys face in your business right now? Marv, why don't we start with you at the far end?
Well, I think it's the same. It was the same at the beginning, and it's the same now, and through the middle it was as well. And I think that really is a facet of controlling your mindset. So mindset is everything in our business. So whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. So mindset is the ultimate challenge. Being so strong-willed that no matter what, you have resolution and you stay with your goal, your end goal in sight. So I always say that, look, whether it was building this company, which by the way everybody laughed at and gave me all kinds of crap over and everything else, your destination is not a straight line, is the best way I could explain it. There's going to be things that come along the way that bump you off the rails, and that's okay. As long as you have the perseverance to put it back on the rails and continue. So even though you might envision your path as being a straight line, it never is. So the key component, to answer the question once again, is mindset. If you have a strong mindset and you really guard your mindset very carefully, everything else is going to work out really well. So that would be my answer.
Okay, great. Jay, what's your biggest challenge?
I think it's people, right? Like I love people, but when you're dealing with, let's look at the market. So the market went crazy and then it corrected, right?
Yes.
And we're 18 months later and no one's got used to it. It happened pretty quick, right? So it's all, I call it the human condition. Like we just have this, we just get in our own way. People get in their own way. When I'm in conversations with people, I just marvel at listening to them let their ego say, no one tells me, and things like that. I just sit there and go, so here's your choices. You could be flexible and open-minded, or you can be rigid and say, no one tells me. And it's, to me, so glaring which one you should choose, but you're going to go with this one. So it's amazing. So dealing with people, like how many people have day-to-day problems with clients? Just as a show of hands, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's just like constant, right? And so, if the question is in my business, then there's lots of little challenges. But really it's people, right? The business I find really easy. It's great, right? But the people, dealing with the people, managing the people, making it all work, right? That's one of the key things even at my company is it's all about making it fit. You can say, I'm going to have a team, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. That doesn't matter. You can throw a bunch of people together. Look at the Leafs, right? Last night.
Overtime, dude. Right? That was good.
I know, it's true. Last night, they were a hodgepodge. They weren't a team. Montreal deserved to win that game.
They did.
Just FYI. So they weren't playing together. So people, it's all about people for me. It's all about managing people and their mindset and all that stuff, right? So,
okay.
Other people.
Andrew, what's your biggest challenge in your business right now?
I think the same challenges I face are the majority that you guys always have, and no matter how successful or how new you are, I think everyone has the anxiety, am I never going to sell another home again, or, what if so-and-so doesn't call me, and what if my numbers are not as good, and one of the challenges is we find is, finding always a staffing issue, finding that right, perfect agent to join our team. And the fact of the matter is we don't really hire for talent, really we hire for fit. And trying to find the right fit for our family, quote unquote, is always a challenge for us. Because at the end of the day, there's 50,000 to choose from. And, just like your clients have 50,000 choices, we have 50,000 choices. And making the right choice is very difficult when you have so much choice out there. So, the challenge is taking your time. The other thing I also say is that I may not be ready for another agent to join my team, but if you find someone really good, then you should nab them. Whether it's that perfect assistant that you find, like, hey, I'm not ready for an assistant today. But if you find someone who's really great, then you should nab that person. And like in any relationship, if you're, single and or just got a bad relationship, I'm not ready for a man or a woman right now, blah blah blah, and then someone hits you in the face and says, well, I'm gonna throw it out the window and I'm gonna jump 2 feet and try this person out. So at the end of the day, it's don't put your roadblocks on and be open-minded, and you never know when you're gonna bump into that next perfect person.
I think that's the way my wife decided to marry me. So. She's still trying to decide. Wei?
For me, the biggest challenge right now is hiring. I'm having the challenge of duplicating what I'm able to offer to my clients, and which is all my time pretty much, because I don't have kids and I don't have a family, and so I have all the time in the world. So when I wouldn't advertise this, but I'm pretty much available 24/7. My girlfriend doesn't like that because sometimes I'll have to leave dinner, but I'll give her a gift card of something, wherever she wants to shop at. Honey, it's worth it.
Give her a gift card?
I'm writing that down. Only half of it.
Business expense.
I'm going to give it to a client, but...
Yeah. You're writing it off anyways.
It's Toys R Us, but have fun.
She's very understanding, but
I would say so.
Yeah. Honey, I love you. Hiring is the biggest challenge I have right now, and to duplicate that process is very challenging. To duplicate what I'm able to offer to my clients is tough.
So duplicating your systems, finding people, mindset.
Yeah.
All right, those are all good. What do you guys use to manage your time? Let's go with, where do we start? Down the far end? Wei, what do you do to manage your time? How do you manage your time? Is there a system?
It's a lifestyle. I wake up, go to the gym, and then go to the office. And then right now, because we have a new site coming up, I'm actively at that site quite often. So it's a routine, it's a lifestyle, and it keeps me going.
And if something pops up in your day is there a priority in your day?
Absolutely. So business always comes first, always. Even my mom says so. Business first, health second, family third. That's for my mom. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andrew, what are you doing to manage your time?
So I would say when you're trying to manage your time, when you're first starting out, you're kind of like a chicken with no head, and you're just running all over the place. And as you grow and you become a little bit more successful and you have more things slotted in your day, you can say no. Oh, I can't show this house at this time. I can show it later on this afternoon. Or when are you available to come list my house? And 9 times out of 10, you'll always say, oh, will you come 11:30 at night? Yep, absolutely. I'll come whatever time you want. And time of managing is say, great, if I have other showings in this area, then I'll come at the same time. So it's about trying to schedule your day and learning to say no and also say yes when you should say yes. Because and that's what you'll find, and you learn to get an assistant, if you have on one end of the city and you're at one appointment and the other guy says, oh, come on the other side of the city and come list me, you need to realize when to prioritize your time because traffic is really bad in the city, as you know. So, it's okay to say no, because if you're saying yes all the time, which I used to always say, people realize, okay, this guy's got all the time in the world. But if you say, I'm busy between this time and this time, I have 2 o'clock free, or I have 7 o'clock free, and then that's when I can see you, and people will be a lot more respectful of your time as well.
Okay, cool. Jay, what are you doing to prioritize your time? Anything in particular?
So, do you mean like personally or my day or?
Yeah. Do you use a calendar? What do you do to?
Well, I use the calendar in Top Producer.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and I put everything in there. I used to be really diligent with the calendar, like crazy. Everything, haircuts, like everything was in the calendar. Boom, 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 because it had to be, and it ran my life, right? I used to put everything in the calendar, even all my calls, everything. And then I had a system where I said, and I don't do this as much now, but I used to every day move that calendar forward to the next day. Every day. I'd get out of bed, and I'd go downstairs, and I would move it all to the next day so that it was cleared away. So that it's all on the next day, and then just mentally, I know today's clear. I also used to use a spiral notebook. So I had my laptop, Might have been a desktop at the time. Laptop, desktop. I had my BlackBerry and then my iPhone, and then I had my spiral notebook. And every day I transposed from my laptop to my spiral notebook. I put the date and I wrote everything down. And it took, frequently it was 2 full pages of things I had to get done, because when you write something down, you retain it. You will never forget it. Like, you're on top of it. So you're running around, you've got it digitally, you've got it on your laptop, you've got it in your spiral notebook, and you put your pen in the spine. It's kind of cool. You can say it's my capture device. So, years and years ago. So, then you're just organized, you've got in a lot of spots, and then I just started knocking it out. And I used to go, kids to school, right? 8:30 they were at school, over to the office, 9 o'clock, 9 to 11, phones, etc., hit it hard, hour of power, on the phone, be effective. When the market was down in 2008, I called people every 3 days for price changes. Every 3 days, same people. So you're in a similar kind of ish market now, so maybe not every 3, but you're calling a lot. I didn't always talk about price changes, but I got to the price change eventually, right? I didn't start there. So, but I digress. So that's how I manage my time that way. Now it's sort of like into top producer, follow it as best I can, but I'm the more the marketing guy, director, and coaching, marketing, like situational coaching I do. So it's like every little nuance of every deal I'm there, I'm available. I've sold a lot of properties, so I can help move the ball into the end zone, right? So I'm there a lot, and we strategize. Sometimes you don't even need me, you just need to call me, and I draw it out of you. You have the answer, right? So it's all about spending that time with people, so I block that off a lot. I still do really late nights. I still do a lot of creative late at night. I'm a creative guy. I just do it late at night. So that still happens. Still get up early, do it. But that's how I used to do it, and that's sort of how I do it now.
Stuck with it. Okay. Marv, do you use anything in particular to manage your time? I know you have the spiral.
Yeah, I have a few things. So,
Yeah.
Look, so for me, I would say that time management starts with respecting your time, or everybody else will do it. So I have a gatekeeper, and that would be Lori. And people know. I mean, they actually come into my office apologizing for potentially wanting to speak with me. I know that sounds kind of high-handed, and that's not really my point. The point is, they respect my time because they know that I respect it first. So for me, time blocking is really important. I will tell you, on several of my biggest years in real estate, I'd work 8 months a year and no weekends. And that's true. And I had years with one assistant doing like 1.6 million in GCI, and it's not all about that, I get it. But no weekends, 8 months, on my boat, all that kind of stuff, because I time managed effectively. To Andrew's point earlier, I would tell people, if they want to look on the weekend and say, listen, the best deals happen Monday to Thursday. Everybody comes up from the city on the weekends to see stuff. If you really want a great deal, take time off work and come up Monday to Thursday. And that would show me that they were serious. And of course, it would free up my weekends at the same time. So for me, here's what I would recommend for time blocking, for whatever it's worth. I would suggest you look at the year as a whole first. I do use a 2-day day timer. We order them. They have them in Costco. We order them in. But, and then, of course, it's enhanced by electronic means. But basically what I do is look at the whole year and block off all of the off time first. Birthdays, anniversaries, holiday time, whatever it may be. And I look at the current month and the coming month, and I block off additional off time. So that would be things like, I just want to work, I work weekends and say, well, I only want to work 2, or what have you. Golf days, so on and so forth. So what ends up happening, though, is that what's left over is just work time. Because you already blocked off all of the monumental events. You've blocked off all of your, additional days off for the month. And psychologically, you realize that, when you do it the other way around, you write down all the things you want to do first. The back of your mind, subconsciously, you're thinking, man, I'm missing out on this great stuff in life. I'm missing out time with my kids, or my family, or my friends, or personal time, or what have you. When you account for all that off-time great stuff first, all that's left over is work time. And you'll be really surprised when you look at what you do all day long and how many meaningful conversations you're actually having in a day. I think you'll find that you're probably not having enough conversations to line up with what your end goals are. So that's the way I think effective time blocking should be done. I think it should be the whole year at a glance, blocking off all of your off time first, add additional off time in the current month, and then what's left over is work time, and then you just work your plan. That's how I would do it.
And so how many of you guys have a really strict daily schedule?
I do.
Do the rest of you guys have a really strict daily schedule? In terms of things that repeat themselves in your calendar daily that are always in there at a certain time.
I have some of that, yeah.
Okay, Andrew and Wei, you guys don't?
Things, but it's not overly strict. I have certain meetings I have every week, and that's about it.
That's about it. Okay, and does anybody want to run through their typical day if it is structured? Like, what time do you guys start in the morning? What do you do first? What's in there?
Sure, I'll tell you what I do. But my structure is personal. So I'll tell you about you guys will know what I do and what I'm doing. So, but what I do is I get up, guys. I like to see my family and my wife before work. So I get up. I don't get up crazy early because I go to bed crazy late, generally, right? So I get up. I go downstairs. I always take some, vitamins, and I like to drink Greens Plus, and I have a banana, and I see my kids, and I hang out with my wife.
I don't know if we need that much detail, Jay.
I go downstairs and I play guitar for like 20 to 30 minutes. I try to keep that to 20 to 30. Then I do a whole ton of stretching, meditating, praying. I strongly recommend that. And then I just do some light weights. I don't want to come off like I hit the gym. But I do some light weights. Then I do
more than the banana.
Then I do some more, and then on the treadmill I do some more praying, meditating. I get my head together. The phone is turned off, cold. The phone never goes in my bedroom, never in my bedroom. And it's not because that's some sanctity for me and my wife. It's because I can't sleep. I can't sleep if that phone's there. I know people that are like, I can't sleep without my phone there. I'm like, it's like this electronic device like ringing by your head. Like, I can't take that. So it's got to stay out of my bedroom. And I just get connected spiritually, musically, with my family. I eat right. I exercise, and all that happens before the phone gets turned on. Because I'm going to tell you, this thing, you turn that on, that is a lot of people giving you their agenda. Here's your new agenda for your day. I just gave it to you. I'm going to puke all over you with an iPhone. Right? And that's how I feel. So the phone stays off. I get my head together. I get my body together. I get everything together. And then I can take on the day. And then I feel great. Like I've seen my kids, seen my wife. I've done all these things. So that is like, and that's 365. That's every day. That's New Year's Day. That's not like 3 days a week I go to the gym to get my head together. I get my head together every single day. Cool. That's pretty much it. The rest of it comes at me as it goes. I don't, like at my office, we have a hoteling concept, so I don't go and like hide in an office. I'm like with everybody in the office. Like we share the office together and stuff, so it's not, when I'm there, we're together, right? We work together. Brainstorm together, we strategize together, so that all comes out as we work, right?
Okay. All of you guys have hired an administrative assistant, right? So maybe you can tell us really quickly at what number of deals you decided to make that hire, and then the process that you used to make the hire. Andrew, do you want to start? Do you remember how many deals you got to before you decided to make the hire?
About maybe 15 deals.
Okay.
And then I got an assistant.
Okay. And how did you find them? What process did you do? The KPA, or what did you use to hire?
I paid someone in the office to find my assistant.
Sweet. And how'd you hire that person?
They did. Someone in the office did all the other mumbo jumbo, KPA, XYZ, whatever you call it. They did all that sort of stuff, and then hired the assistant, and had the assistant for about a year and a half, maybe. Yeah. Then I hired someone else.
Okay. And did the first assistant move up and sideways down in the organization, or just out?
That assistant eventually left and hired another one. So the assistant I hired was more or less the The second was like an operations manager, and then I hired someone else on top of that.
And both times you delegated that hire to somebody else to do, or you did it yourself?
No,
the second
I
time.
delegated that, and then
Okay.
the operations manager found the other person.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Wei, how did you find your assistant, and what number of deals did you do it at?
It was around 12
Okay.
deals a year, and I decided I needed an assistant, and where I found her was she was a right hand of another business owner, and she decided she wanted a change of career, so I was able to get her on board. And she's really good at event planning, which I suck at, and so it's got her on board. And mainly that was the main reason why I got her on board is I told her just strictly 5 to 6 events a year. That's all you got to do. Paperwork, I'll train you, and it just went from there.
Okay. And so she was the only assistant you actually interviewed?
Yep.
The only interview. Okay, cool. Marv?
All right. So for me, I've had 2 assistants in my real estate career. One for 18 years, and Lori so far has made it to about a year and a half. It's great for her. It's awesome. Yeah, there she is, smiling back there. Yeah. So when I said I hired my first assistant later than I should have.
Yeah.
So I was doing around 50 transactions.
Okay.
50,
Yep.
when I hired my first assistant. That's too late for sure, especially evidence probably what everyone else is.
Yeah, I think that's interesting that they were at a relatively
They're
low number.
smarter than I am. Well, obviously people always answer, but yeah. So that's about that. And then the way about hiring, I've learned a lot. So in my first hire, quite frankly, I just got lucky. I didn't have any systems in place. So again, not to get too heavy on Keller Williams because the majority of people here are not, but I really believe that one of the strengths of our company is that we are the #1 training company in the world, and we teach people how to build teams and how to hire. So some of the proprietary things we have, this KPA, you're hearing these initials all the time, it's proprietary. It's a behavioral assessment of somebody. So basically, anybody can do any job, essentially, but will they really have great success and enjoy the experience? So the KPA looks at their natural behavioral tendencies. It also does some cognitive assessment, and it ranks their likelihood for success in a variety of roles. So that's one of the training tools and one of the hiring tools we have available to us. So, and we teach you how to hire. So in this particular case, when Lori recently got hired, we had about 200 and something applicants for the role. I didn't do any of the process, actually. I had other people do it for me, so like Andrew. But when I was down to the final 3, that's when I stepped in and did that. So.
Okay. And Jay, at what point did you make your first hire? And
I was too late as well.
Yeah.
I was
How
about
many?
50 as
50
well.
deals? Okay.
And I was running. Holy
Yeah.
shit, man.
And how did you find him, her?
Let me think. I lucked out. My hiring when I started was just, it was just this great young gal. And her name was Erin, and I still love her, and she lives overseas because her husband's a hockey player, but yeah, she just happened to be my niece's friend who happened to be had a master's in economics, got a real estate license while she was like sleeping, practically brilliant, everything just fantastic, so I lucked out totally. And that was at 50. But then since then I learned how to hire because I've had some off hires.
Okay.
Or tricky hires, right? Again, it's got to fit. You can get an assistant, guys, that doesn't, it actually sucks the life out of you, okay?
So what system do you use now for the hiring process? Is there
I kind of, as I said, I'm creative, guys, so I do like funky stuff for hiring people. I do the disc, so you guys know the disc, everybody knows the disc.
Everyone knows the disc?
You gotta do the disc.
Yeah.
And there's ways of doing the disc that's like discoveryreport.com is just a really quick, just $14 or something, and they'll send you the disc. Send it to the person, you get a disc. It's pretty accurate. It's good. Tony Robbins, I think, has one that's free. They'll just give it to you for free. So you can do either one of those. And I do wacky stuff. I have multiple interviews and I ask them what their favorite movies are and weird stuff that they're sitting there going, what the hell's that got to do with anything, right? But what it does is it tells you a lot about the person and you get to know the person. So I'd have to go through a lot to talk about my process, but you need to do a lot to make sure you hire well. You just Yeah, you need to do a lot, for sure. But do the disc. Has everybody here done their disc? Like, you should have done your own disc. You should, if you don't know yourself, I don't know, you don't know yourself. So you learn to do the disc, you think of things in your past of like, I can connect a lot of the reasons why I've been successful selling to instances of my life. Like right down to instances of my life that helped me connect with people because of things that happened when I was a kid and stuff, like because I've taken the time to do that. I think everybody just wants to be successful or do more deals or have money for retirement or all of these things that like they're genuine and they're authentic, but they're not necessarily going to get you a transaction. So I like to make sure the assistant, I don't know them as well, into that kind of thing.
Wait,
Cool.
can I just
Yeah.
jump on something?
Sure.
So actually you prompted me to say something, Jay. So one of the most important things when hiring is actually doing the life story. Have you ever heard of this? So basically you say to somebody, look, I'd like you to take me back to the day you graduated high school and bring me forward to today. I want to hear about the successes and the failures. I want to hear about the jobs, the money, the possible marriages, divorces, anything that you think I need to know. And then all you do is listen and make notes. It's very revealing. It's even more powerful than any scripted type of interview process you can have. So to me, the life story conversation is the most important component of the interview process. It tells you so much about that person. And you'll look for clues. You'll look for, well, you know what, in high school I was the captain of the mathematics team, and then I went on as the young entrepreneur of the year, and blah, blah, blah. Or they might say, man, I just smoked dope in the bleachers, which is okay.
Or they're just complaining a lot, or there's excuses along the way. Like I do a similar thing. I just say rant. It's my rant. So they need to rant. Just go. Or I say, would you like a pen and paper? You can draw it. Like if you're artistic, go for that. And they're like sitting there going, whoa. It's like, I'm not going to draw you a picture, buddy. I go, what do you need? You want to sing me a song? You can give me a rant. You can draw me a picture. You can do whatever you want. So and we're going to do one of them, or we're not going to do the job. So that's the kind of stuff that I do. Exact same, Marv.
Yeah.
Exact same. It's funny, yeah. And it's great when you go through and there's nothing really wrong, just a lot of complaining. Well, and this guy was like this, and this girl was and then you go, all right, so you're going to come here, right? My grandmother used to say, if you bring a bone, you take a bone, right? Meaning if you're going to come and complain about other people here, then you're going to take from here and go and do it over there, right? You're going to talk about us. So, yeah,
true.
It's big because that can really throw a bomb in your office or in your business, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really big.
So a couple of you guys have alluded to the importance of mindset, and we all know that as business owners, and especially with shifting markets and challenging clients, that our mindset is challenged all the time. So maybe you guys, I'd really like to kind of dig into this. What do you guys do to protect your mindset? What do you do to get there to a mindset of success, and how do you guys protect it when you're there? Wei, you want to start with that?
Well, the way I see it is there's always a market for a buyer or a seller. So buyer market, seller market. The buyer agent that I have on my team she's really good at representing buyers, which I can, every deal she sends, she says, oh, I want to get your second opinion. I said, I'd rather not because I'll screw it up. She's really sweet talking and she can close a deal for a buyer, so I just send it to her, and all my buyers are just sent to her. So I think there's always a buyer's market and a seller. I like to work with investors. I'm very blunt. So there's a buyer and seller market.
And if you're having a particularly challenging investor who's taking you to some dark hole, how do you stay out of the dark hole, or how do you climb back out after he's taken you down there?
Sometimes it comes down to, you know what, these are the numbers. I lay everything out. This is what the numbers are. If you don't like it, then we'll move on to the next project, or sometimes you just say no to that client.
Cut him loose.
Yeah.
Okay. Marv?
I think I kind of answered that before.
Yeah.
I really believe in compartmentalization. So you're allowed to celebrate a wonderful day, but don't bring it into the next day, or you'll just rest on those accolades. And conversely, you're allowed to have a terrible day, but don't let that downward spiral into the next day, or it'll just manifest into something terrible. So, but whatever you have to do for yourself to guard your mindset, that's key. That is the game changer, and it's the same in anything that's really high performance, right? In athletics, music. I think it's our business, it's life. So whatever you have to do for you to guard your mindset, that's the case. And the other thing I would say too, Wayne, is my mom used to say, show me your friends and I'll show you who you are.
Yeah.
So I say guard your 3-foot circle really carefully. The people that you let in really close are going to be a direct reflection of you. So just be careful of that too.
Sometimes, like clients, you have to let go. You have to let friends go, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew, what do you do to get you to a good place and stay in a good place?
Well, when sometimes you have a challenge with a sale or a client, or your sales are slow this month, and you just say, well, if I'm going through it, everyone else is going through it, and I'm no different, no matter how big or small you are, or how long you've been doing it for, and how brand new you are. And the fact of the matter is sometimes to say, if you're going through hell, just keep running. Eventually you'll get out of it. And that's worked well for me, just to keep plowing through. And I find sometimes the harder I work, the luckier I get. And just because, you didn't get that sale or it didn't work very well for you that day, something else pops open the next day and you get that phone call, hey, I saw this house, I want to buy it, or hey, come list me, I want to sell this house. So it's just keeping positive on a day-by-day basis, and each win is one win, and then that's it. And you realize, hey, great, I got this sale, now I'm unemployed, now go find another, and go find another, and then find that next person too. Make that next family happy and work the referral. But in an ever-changing market, next year maybe even way better year. I don't know. But you have to take 1 year at a time and do the best you can with it. But as I said, the problems you have are the same problems you have with any other agent and all around the world in any different market. You're no different, you're no better or no worse than the next guy.
Is your attitude of unemployment, is that something after each deal, or every day you wake up and go, okay, today I'm unemployed and I've got to go find somebody?
No, it's after each sale. It's like,
yeah,
great,
okay.
That's perfect. And then you also think about, sometimes, as I said before, some deals you just don't want. Some clients are ungrateful. No matter how much you worked your ass off for them, you could have sold it for more. Or if you sell it really quickly, I sold too cheap. Or if it took too long, you could have marketed it more, or whatever it may be. So sometimes it's just kind of look at trimming the fat and realize you maybe, as you get better and more skilled at picking out certain clients you want to work with, you may talk to yourself and say, look, is this someone that I want to hang my hat on for the next 2-3 months that I want to work with? Because at the end of the day, if that listing doesn't sell, you know who's the idiot? You are. Because it's always the agent's fault. And really, at the end of the day, it's not really your fault, and maybe you should have just walked. Kind of like in a bad relationship. If you're in a bad relationship, you say, look, it's not for me, I cut my losses and move on. And as I said, the more deals you do, the more problems you'll have, more money, more problems. But you think about it a percentage, if you do 10 deals a year and you have one trouble, okay, that's 10%. If you do 100 deals a year and you have 10 deals, that's also 10%. If you're doing 200 deals a year, 20 problems, that's still 10%. But the minute you start going more than 10, you should take a look at yourself, and it's not really your clients the problem, you're the problem. You should try and take a look at, where you should trim the fat and walk from deals. Because you probably could have sold 5, 10, 15 other houses in the meantime, instead of just spinning your wheels on one dead horse.
All right.
There's my rant.
Good rant. Yeah.
Yes, buddy.
I like that better than drawing a picture. That was better. Yeah. So Jay, you mentioned earlier that you have that routine in the morning where you get on the treadmill and you pray and you spend time with your guitar and all that stuff. So is there anything beyond that you do to sort of keep you in a great mindset?
Oh, the mindset.
Yeah.
Well, I always remember this too shall pass.
Yep.
Good or bad, right? And it really hit me hard when I had a kid commit suicide in a garage. I sold the house, and it was in the between firm sale and closing, and the 16-year-old kid that I knew the family and that, so he killed himself in the garage, right? So obviously I had to do the disclosures, and it's lots of fun, right? But I always thought, holy shit, kid, man, like in a year or 2 years, like you won't even care about that crap, man. You know what I mean? Like when you're 25, it would have been a whole other life. So Like there's an extreme example. So we're worried about like 2018 being a tough market, right? There's an extreme example of this too shall pass. I just always remember that. So like it can always be worse. It can all those kind of things. I just remember it. But most importantly is I just really believe that I can help people at a super high level. Like that I will protect them and their best interest and help them and get them the best price. Like no one will do a better job than myself and the crew. Like no one. I just believe that like to the core of my spirit, my being, and that's it. It's not about a deal, it's about knowing that. So I know that that level of expertise and service is just, it's a calling. And so it gets me through, it keeps my mindset at a really high level.
That's cool. We were actually having that conversation about a week ago, about you have to believe in your heart that you're the best person for the job,
Really
sitting in front of it.
believe it,
Really
yeah.
believe, absolutely,
The noise
100%.
in your brain, right? Like so when you have all the brouhaha, like yeah, this is great, it's wonderful, and everybody's excited, and we're at the office, and woo, 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 right? And then in your brain you're going, I hope so. You're done. Like everything you just said didn't matter. It was what you said and the noise in your head that got you. You have to learn to strip it and believe, like get up and just go, I can make a difference, right? And that sounds corny, but you can. You really can. So it's like, it's just, and then plowing through, like Andrew said, like with that mindset. You're doing it. It's not maybe, it's happening.
Cool. So we're running a little long. Is everybody okay? You guys okay to keep going? Yeah? Okay, all right. So I'm gonna, because I want to leave time for some Q&A, and I don't think we all want to be here till 10. So let's move right along to kind of the last question I have for you guys. The $1 million question is, what's your prediction for the real estate market for the next year? Wei, why don't you give us going on that?
I don't think it's going to be anything exciting. I think we'll still stay relatively flat because money's very hard to borrow. I'm an investor as well, and it's very difficult to get money right now. I'm resorting to B and private money right now, and from an investor standpoint, I don't think there's anything exciting, but I think there's really good deals to be had out there because we're always looking for people who are motivated to sell. Estate sales and divorce. I love those two. I love looking for properties like with those because when people want to separate, they want a fast closing and they want to get out, regardless of the price. So that's where we come in and say, look, we can close in 2 weeks, but we want a deal. So
Okay.
To answer the question, I think it's nothing exciting. Yeah.
Okay. Marv, what do you think?
Well, why do you ask, Wayne? No,
I'm looking to sell my house, and I don't know if I should or not.
Okay, so here's the way I would just
Really conflicted.
So we've touched on things like, you know what, I think Wayne mentioned, you know, there's no such thing as good market, bad market, it's buyer market. So, okay. But here's what I believe. And I wish I could draw it, but we don't have a whiteboard easily accessible. So you could imagine a bar graph, and let's say that's 2014 to here, and that's 2015, that's 2016, and then a big jump up, the anomaly in 2017, and then down again to 2018. The reality is, mentally, we're all still at that big jump up in 2017. But if you look at the trajectory from 2018 down right through to 2014, we're on course for where we should be. It's just been a correction that, quite frankly, was required. So my thought is this. The market is the market. Over time, it always goes up in value. Over time, people always need to sell. Over time, people always need to buy. So my prediction is this. The people with the strongest mindset, that don't get all hung up on all that kind of stuff, are going to succeed in any market. So don't worry about all that stuff. Don't listen to the news. They were predicting a bubble for like 30 years. They were finally right. Congratulations. That's awesome. I don't even listen to that crap because that's really what it is. It's propaganda. It's nonsense. So the bottom line is this. The market's going to do whatever the market's going to do. I don't honestly know. I don't think anybody knows. I've been on radio shows and all that kind of stuff, and they say, so what's the market going to be like in Canada? And I tell them it'd be irresponsible to answer because there's so many pockets. There's so many factors. It's very different on the East Coast than it is on the West Coast and everything in between. But what I do know is this. Great realtors make great money in any market. That's what you got to do.
You're here. Yep. Okay, great. Andrew, what do you think?
Thank you very much over there. And
Yeah.
plans over in the hallway.
Yeah, nice.
By the wine, though. So
And we actually, yeah,
if it's legitimate or not.
we were going to bring a whiteboard in, and we got, no one's going to want to draw except Marv.
Yeah. He's gonna be drawing.
And you see, Lori, like, we should have brought the whiteboard in, right? Can't write on the walls, it's newly
Yes,
painted.
I-
Andrew, what do you think about the market? You have an opinion?
I'm excited for next year. I'm generally an excited kind of guy anyway. Regardless, I'd like to say that, you know, the market depends on certain neighborhoods and certain pockets. You know, the 905 is different from the 416. The east side of the GTA is different than the west side of the GTA. So, you know, there's certain things that sell in days. Over asking, you can blow it out. A monkey can sell it in today's market still. And there's other areas that, you know, it just sits and it's desolate for, I don't know, months on months on months. So, you know, it depends on each market. So, but given the immigration that's coming to the GTA, and every other day I'm hearing, oh, Microsoft's opening up an office, and there's Uber, and there's Sidewalk Labs, and Google. So you're hearing some really great positive news. On the same token, probably going to have an interest rate hike at the end of the month. That's not going to happen. It continues to rise. So, you know, to Wei's comment, you know, if money becomes tight, it'll just be a little bit more difficult. But to Marvin's point, in any market, if you're a really good agent, you'll make more money in a downward market than you will in an easy market, because most people are going to need your services. At the end of the day, it says, oh, like, he's a really good or she's a really good agent, I need their help. You think of it this way, like, if, God forbid, you're on trial for murder or something, what are you going to do? You're going to hire the cheap agent or the cheap lawyer who maybe did 1 or 2 trials? You're going to get the one who's like the big high-priced one who's always on TV and does the best job. Like, it's your most important asset. And you find that the marketing comes to be very important in a downward market, and experience becomes important in a downward market. And as you gain more experience and you're more well-versed and you have better marketing skills, most people are going to gravitate towards, because they don't want to take the risk to go with, you know, the average Joe.
So can I ask, are all of you guys having a better year this year? Are you trending forward to a better year this year than last year? Do you know those numbers offhand? Yeah, Wei's nodding.
Pretty close, and we still have a few more closings for the rest of the year.
Okay, so you're not down. You're going to be either where you were last year or better.
Yeah.
How about you, Andrew? Same, better? You
I'll
know?
probably be about even.
About even? Okay. Jay?
I think we're about even currently. We should be a little bit better than last year.
Okay.
Yeah, last year was even.
Marv?
About even as well.
About even?
Yeah,
Yeah.
trending to about the same. Yeah.
And how many big people here are having a better year this year than last year? A show of hands.
That's great.
Yeah. To Andrew's point, right? This is an opportunity in a down market.
You have to work
Yeah.
a shitload harder.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Okay?
that's what Shift says, right? Double your effort, right?
It's
Yeah.
not, you know, put the sign on the lawn and whatever.
No.
On the same token, you know, I don't lose the listing to little Billy, who's their, you know, their cousin's brother.
I know that
or
guy.
whatever. You know, so that's also great. So, but yeah, you have to work hard. Like, yeah, I have to chase people down to buy my listings.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to.
You got to sell the house.
You got to sell.
Yeah.
It's not like, well, I'll put on the sign on and like, well, whatever, let them, well, just wait till it sells.
Right.
'Cause you're gonna get fired for sure.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. And so Jay, what do you think for the next year?
I think that the market's tough, guys, but I really think that it's up to us as realtors. Like, I talked about having a belief system and keeping your mindset up and wanting to make a difference. We have an opportunity to make a difference because we need to penetrate the public psyche. I talked about it's been 18 months and we're still not reassimilating to the market changing. People are still living in 2017, and all of you guys know this stuff. We need to help them get it, right? Through dialogue, through phone calls, through, you know, and then people, and did you notice maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago, 8 months ago, 95% of people just didn't get it. You'd sit with them, it's like, forget it. Like, you're way out, you're 200,000 off. And now it's like 70% of people are like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you just work at them, change their mindset, talk to them, help them get it quicker. Go out there and make it a purpose, right? And then that'll help move things along, right? So, and that's part of being a great agent, if you want an action step. So it's like a great agent will do good in a down market, yes. So what's the action step, right? not hope, not sit on the sofa and go, I am a great agent. Right? We need to have an action step. We need to talk to people constantly and move them into that position and help them get it. And they will get it. Sometimes you don't even need a response. You just say it to them, and they disagree, and you leave it with them. Right? Give them a couple days. You'd be surprised, right? So, and I'm not saying that that's like slam dunk going to work every single person every single time. No. There'll be people digging their heels till the end of time that their house is still worth 1.87 million like it was in February 2017. But you will get a huge percentage of it to move. So it's like, it's a great thing that I'm actually glad to say that to all you guys, because that's what we need to do. That's a good perspective. That'll get you sales, for sure.
A lot of people are not honest with themselves, and more importantly, not honest with their clients when it comes to pricing. You price what they want to hear, and you bid the listing, and then you're stuck with it. So you just shoot yourself in the foot. Like, for instance, I walked from a $4 million listing the other day, and I was like, I don't think I want it. I told them what it was worth, and I was like, you don't want to sell for this price, you should call someone else. And they did. They listed with someone else, and that was totally fine. I did not care. Because at the end of the day, I walk from that one listing, and I can go sell 4 or 5 other houses in the meantime. And it took me a while to learn that. I had to get kicked in the face a few times when I realized I was spinning all my wheels. I think I spent time in marketing and blah, 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 and so see, he can't sell it because he's a terrible agent or blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, what sells your brand is a sold sign, not a for sale sign. If it's not sold, it's like, oh yeah, he gets listings, but we can't sell them. You know, I still have that problem of the listings that I took before, and I'm still trying to work with those problems. But the fact of the matter is, you know, if you're not honest with your client, more importantly honest with yourself, you say, what's the CMA say? Okay, it's worth 1.3. Tell them it's worth 1.3. Tell them it's worth 1. If I can write it down, put it in a piece of paper and show them that. Because sometimes you'll get chicken and you'll say, okay, it's worth 1.5. Okay, fine. And it's not worth 1.5. You're like, oh shit, what am I going to do? I just walked. I told them it's worth 1.5. It's never going to sell. And then they're going to fire me. And they say, oh, I only want like a 2-month listing or a 3-month listing. I'm like, well, why'd you even bother?
Yeah.
It does happen. It's so funny because I think everyone's laughing because they're like, yeah, I've been there.
I've totally done that. And it's like, you just waste your time.
And then everybody in the neighborhood, when it doesn't sell, they ask 2 questions. The first question they say is, what's wrong with the house?
Right.
And the second question is, what's wrong with the realtor? He can't sell the house.
It's always
and
your
it's
fault.
all about price, right?
It's always your fault.
You got to be stronger at the table.
So you just got to think about that. Just be honest with yourself and honest with the client. You say, this is what I think it's worth. You asked me what it's worth. Here's the number. And I said, it's not what, look, is that bold line, that bold script. I don't make the market. I just
interpret it.
Yeah. So you're just interpreting the market, and it's only worth what someone's willing to pay.
Yeah.
So bid on the market for 3 months, you had an offer. Whose fault is it? My fault? The market? Your house smells? I don't know. What's the issue? Generally, 9 times out of 10, it's price.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I'm going to wrap my questions up there. I'm going to open up the floor for anybody who has got questions for the panel. So if you have something to ask somebody specifically, then you direct it to whoever panelist. Yes, sir.
So Andrew, you talk a lot about working with the right client. You talk a lot about being able to walk away from something. How exactly, or what do you need to qualify it in or qualify it out? Criteria.
First of all, you need to deal with, it's easy to say, but you need to find someone who's a motivated seller. Not like, I want to test the market and see. Okay, if you're brand new and you have 0 listings, okay, take the listing. I get it. But at the end of the day, you need to realize, does this person want to sell? And what is their big why? Why do they want to sell? Find out why they want to move. Where do they want to move to? Is it like, because they got 3 newborn kids and they're busting out of the seams? Take the listing because you know it's going to sell. It's the same thing if they're divorcing and they want to move. You need to find that reason why. But you also need to find if someone's going to take your advice. No, I don't want to stage it. No, I don't want to declutter. I don't want to move this. I don't want to change my price. I only want showings on Tuesday between 1 and 2 o'clock and no other time. So if the person's really resisting what you're trying to say, it's probably not the right person for you. You know, don't go to the doctor and say, look, I'm sick, and then you tell him what's wrong with you. You say, what's wrong with me? Tell me what pills to take. Tell me to exercise. Tell me I need to go for surgery. You take the advice from the doctor. So essentially, you're the one giving the advice. Why would they pay you a big commission check if they're not going to listen to you? And that you just, at the end of the day, you give them advice. If they don't want to listen, well, then that's their prerogative. And say, look, hire someone else. Welcome.
And you've got to have enough business or enough confidence to know when to walk away from those, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it comes with, you got to have a big set of balls. Is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you're going to go and try and take that listing down. Great, and they'll listen to you. And if you're confident enough, they'll listen to you. But if you only have one listing, and that's the only one you've got, it's tough. It is a very tough thing. But on the same token, you need to be honest with them. And a lot of people actually appreciate your honesty. And they'll say, thanks for telling me what you really think it's worth. Because the other guy or other girl told me it was worth 200 grand more. Well, that's a blatant lie. There's no way in hell. If that house sold for 200 grand more, you should go buy a lottery ticket. It's just never going to happen. And then let's just be about being frank with somebody and just being direct. Because no one likes to be lied to. I don't, and neither do you. So people appreciate your honesty.
Perfect. Any other questions? Yes, sir?
Wei, I know you mentioned that I'm just curious, how many
Question is how many you home make it home for dinner? Okay.
6 o'clock. So I gotta tell you something. My wife told me I have to be home by 6 o'clock every night for dinner, or she's gonna lock me out of the house. I'm very afraid of her. So I want you to know that I actually am home, right, Laura? I leave at between 5 and 6 every day, and I'm home because I am I want to say it again, very afraid of her. In case
this is being videotaped, yeah.
So I am. You know what? It's interesting though. It's like anything. It's a routine. Now I believe the world does business in the morning, so I am in early. Not as early as maybe I was as the majority of my career, but I do believe that it's an early start, and I think that I'm able to get home earlier. But in the conventional real estate role, I think you can manage your time so that you can be home. There's no reason. It's like an appointment. There's no reason you can't be home for dinner with your family and then go out and do what you got to do after that. You can do it. Well, I did do that before. I'm just dropping stuff everywhere. It's like a mic drop. But I own the mic and I'm afraid of breaking it, so I threw down the bottle cap. I used to do that all the time. Now, quite frankly, this is my second marriage, and part of the contributing issues were the fact that I would push family time aside for the deal, and I would, if I could go back, not that I'd want to be with my ex-wife, because no, that's not what I'm saying. But what I would say though is I wouldn't forfeit family time with my kids over the deal. I just wouldn't do it again. So I would always be home for dinner. I think it's important. That's what they're going to remember, and that's what you got to do.
Do you guys all make it home for dinner? Rest of you guys?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
So-so.
So-so?
Yeah. Not as much better than it was.
Okay. I heard a great bold coach said, "Take care of your husband or wife, or somebody else will." So anyway, yes. So you've been working at the bank for 17 years part-time, and you want to ease into a real estate career? Okay. Should you do it, or how should you do it?
She works at the bank part-time, or she's
Yes.
working real estate part-time?
No, I guess both.
Both, yes.
Oh.
Okay. If you want to give you my perspective, I think that the answer it's different for everybody. So when I started in real estate, I too started part-time. But then I very quickly realized that I had to either be all in or all out. I remember that's when we carried pagers that were the size of this table on our waist. It was kind of awful. But I think that here's what happens. If you truly make the gut-wrenching decision to jump in full-time, it's a game changer. Growth needs to hurt a little bit. So if you're taking baby steps in terms of growth, you're not going to feel it, but you're not going to have the same results either. So if you really want to take the big leap of faith, it's going to hurt, it's going to be uncomfortable, but you're going to see the biggest results as a result of doing it. That would be my advice. So it's a personal decision, but I did it, and it worked out okay for me. So,
Yes, sir.
Often we see these mega teams, big, huge markets, large teams, large reps, large markets. One question I have is, when you take a big,
Talking to that.
Hello, there we go. So one question I have is, often we'll see these mega teams, and they've got tons of agents, tons of marketing dollars spent, the works. My question is, from a top producing agent compared to a team, financially, at the end of the day, do you make more with a large team? And I'm asking that question because sometimes you can have a top agent that does 70 deals, 80 deals, 90 deals, compared to one that has 20 people on their team. I'm curious, at the end of the day, do you end up with more money in your pocket? Because for a lot of us, we're in this for the business. Of course, relationships, but money as well.
That's a long question. I was trying to hold that pose.
If you're an individual agent doing 70 deals, don't join a team.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. So here.
Advise that create a team. Does an agent that does 90 deals, 80 deals by himself, is he more profitable, or compared to an agent that builds a team of 20 people? I'm just curious. I'll pick on Hans Orstrom. Spends a ton of money on marketing dollars and everything else along with it. I'm just curious. If you had to guess,
You mean does he make more money
Yes.
than the guy? Probably not. No. You got, but remember, an individual agent. Lots of individual agents out here, right? Anybody here individual doing 70 ends? All right, that's the thing. On your own, I mean, not as a team, right? So yeah, as an individual agent doing 70 ends, you're going to make more dough, right? You have to decide, like you have to really look again at yourself. You can keep 100% of nothing, right? So you do hardly any deals and you have 100% of it, or whatever the split is with the brokerage.
Right.
Or you join a team and you've got to go 50-50 or whatever that whatever your split is with the team, but you get transactions, given to you, leads given to you, all that kind of stuff. It can, like, I have numerous people on my team who are multi-six-figure income earners, plus, okay? And then I also know individual agents who make that kind of money. But usually they're more established, like, at that level. They're not new. So are you talking about a brand new agent?
I guess to make it simple, question very simple. Did you make more as a single agent, being a top producer?
Oh, you mean me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I would go with no, I didn't. Okay? But, again, you got to look at yourself. There's a lot of top producing agents that think they can be a team leader that can't. And I'm not saying that it's like nobody can do it. I'm just saying you need to know yourself. Because I've seen guys open offices and they fail. I've seen all sorts of scenarios where it's like, you were a great sales rep, you should have stuck with it. Right? Sure. Like that whole leadership role is very difficult. But yes, of course you can make more money. It depends on your business model, right? You can, and it can go the other way too. It depends on your commission split. Like I know people go around, they drop their pants on commission all the time. We just can't. Like we just don't. We don't want to. We're worth it. We will do anything for them, all those things. So it's like, no, we won't give you our paycheck. And when people ask for it, we say, well, we wouldn't ask for your paycheck. So, you're asking for ours, right? So if teams are going around and hitting 4 points all day long, then yeah, remember what's coming back is getting split out. The team leader's got the expense. I mean, they're not going to make as much. So there's a lot of waiver in there in the answer to your question. If they're hitting the right commission, if they just want signs on the lawn and they're just hitting it for whatever, then they're not making a lot of dough. If they're spending all the dough, right?
Does that answer your
If
question?
The guy cut
Yeah.
the check. I'm trying to help, but that's like a 35-minute answer.
And the difference becomes too is you guys can now step out of your business and your business continues to function. And that's the advantage you have.
Yeah,
Whereas
there's
an
leverage
individual,
piece, right?
realtor may make more money bottom line, but if something, God forbid, were to happen to that individual realtor, the money stops. Whereas you guys have a structure in place that allows something to continue on. You're building an entity, right? So, Michael, so you had your hand up back there? Oh, sorry.
Great realtors out there doing great teams, they make a lot less than their top producing agents on the team. Because their desire is to develop people on the team. Their desire is to help others achieve. And they're quite satisfied. Something like this lady could ask, when do I leave in part-time and become full-time? What's your goal? What do you want to achieve? You can't just categorically say you make less or you make more. What's your goal? What do you want to achieve it? And how do you want others to achieve it?
Cool.
So there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
There is.
Couple more? Yep.
Gentlemen, first, thanks. This has been a true pleasure. Very inspirational. Quick question. Somebody who's starting out or soon to be talked a lot about first steps or decisions you wish you'd made sooner. So my question is specifically about one-to-one coaching. And when do you feel it's appropriate for somebody to lock arms with a one-on-one coach? And could it be too soon if you haven't sort of gone down that path somewhat on your own to learn some of those growing things? Thank you very much.
When do you hire a coach?
I'd go for it, man. I would. If you got the dough, a lot of people don't get a coach because then you get put down the right path, right? If they're a good coach. Remember, any kind of therapy, right? You can go to a physiotherapist and they wreck your shoulder more, right? So it's like the same thing. Bad coach, that's a drag, right? They just send you down the wrong path.
Yeah, Andrew?
Well, I wouldn't get one. I think it's, if you're brand new, you're going to spend $800, $1,000 a month. I think it's a big waste of money, in my opinion. And I don't think that you don't need it. And where I'm getting to is that you don't need to spend the money. Are you at KW or not? No? Okay, so you join KW. You know what you got for free? You got Marvin. Call him.
Thank you. One-on-one coaching, man, all day long. Mark's waiting for your call.
Yeah.
No, but like, you got your office manager. There's other people in the office. I'll give you an example. I have so many people in my office calling me, okay, well, the ones I like, I talk to. And I'm like, oh, and I say, hey, what would you do, Andrew? What would you do in this situation? I'm like, yeah, that's great. And it didn't cost you $1,000 a month either. So you can get all the coaching you want if you go and do the right things and ask the right people. So you've got all those great books. So before you go waste your money, $1,000 a month, and sign a stupid contract for a year, go read all those books first. And find out what's in them.
Yeah, so
Right.
Don, what you should consider is this. So we have a program, it's called Ignite. So basically it ignites the beginning of somebody's career, or even if somebody wants to reignite their career, we recommend Ignite. So it's going to give you all the fundamental pieces to set you on the right track. And to Andrew's point, there's some great books that are going to help you along the way. So we have a systematic way for you to do that. So I would suggest the answer is in between the two, in my personal opinion. I think coaching, there's some people who have had amazing success by hiring a coach right away. And there's a lot of people that would say, listen, doing it right at the beginning, you don't even know what you're doing yet. So hiring a coach is a little bit soon. So I like the idea of progressing to coaching via Ignite, reading some of the materials, getting more embraced in the culture, building your business, what you're building, a value proposition, a mission statement, branding, all of those things first, and then we can look at that. Okay?
And
We'll guide
you can go to the other mega camp and family reunion, go to those things, because those are great coaching sessions because it's fun and you're hearing from other top agents and you're getting one-liners and you're getting, what people are doing for scripting, for presentations. So you're getting all that sort of stuff. After you've hit like a ceiling, and you've used all your resources that you get for free, then you can go get a coach.
I like that, when you get to the
I'm
ceiling.
not against coaching.
Yeah.
I'm against people going and jumping in and spending all kinds of money. You joined this brokerage because it's great in training. And that's probably their best thing about Keller Williams. It's great in training. Take the training courses that they give you for free. And in fact, if you're a brand new agent, Keller Williams in this office, through productivity coaching, will actually give you a coach for free. It's part of your cap. So all those processes, you should be using your tools first.
What? One more? Yep, Harry? So a little louder, Harry, sorry?
I'm just curious how you structure compensation for your team and your
How's your team compensation structured for your administrator and your realtors?
So for myself, I ask the same question so what I do is, instead of hiring one-on-one coach, I'll go to different conferences, and it's a 2-3 day event. You go there, you ask all the questions you want, it's only a 3-day, and you're out, that's it. Usually those events is enough for me to answer all my questions, and that was one of the biggest questions I had. So it ranges from, spinning out some numbers, it ranges from 20% to the buyer agent, for example, to 80% to the buyer agent, but it depends on what you're offering to your buyer agent. So for this team that only offered 20% to the buyer agent, they offer them cell phone, car, everything. Everything was paid for. So all they have to do was like a salesperson. They go out there, sign paperwork, on to the next. That's all they do. So it depends on what the team's able to offer you. So some of them are very aggressive. Some of them are very. But sometimes you don't want a team where they give you 80% of the money. Then you're worried. You're wondering where are they getting the leads from, and are they keeping you busy? If they're giving you 80%, I don't think that's enough funds to keep the leads coming in.
Okay. Andrew, you want to tackle that one?
Yeah, I think I've talked to a number of teams. If you read the MREA book, the red book as they call it, they're all structured in different categories. And so we do like sometimes a sliding scale, and it depends also, like we don't charge any split, like if it's your own house, you charge nothing. Like I think it's mean if you're going to take for your own home. So, but going to conferences and seeing, some are from 75-25, some are 80-20, some are 50-50, and depending on certain thresholds, they actually start to go down as well. And we've done that as well in our business and implemented that this year.
Okay. Jay?
Compensation varies. Depends on if it's your deal, their deal, all that kind of stuff, right? But generally, you're somewhere at around 50-50, and then bonuses and stuff if it's their proven past clients, stuff like that. But yeah, it's in and around. It's like it varies, but it's in and around a 50-50 sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Marv?
And
yeah.
I find that I hear a lot about other deals, but in my experience, based on the volume of transactions that my partners do, I've never seen it top 35% of someone's personal loan transactions, right? So they do 30 deals, 35% of it actually was bona fide their stuff, and the rest came from team infrastructure, right? So it's all about like, so where does that work, right? So you got 65% of your money from working with the team, but you brought in 35 yourself, right? And you went 50-50. So it means you actually benefited. Mm-hmm. It's all about making it benefit for the person, right?
Marv?
Oh, and you know what? I just want to add one last thing to the gent about the coaching. There's always joining a team, right? So join a team. You don't have to coach.
Is that a plug?
No, it's not a plug. No, that's not a plug. These guys all have teams, right? Join a team.
So look, I think that there's a place now for the industry to evolve a little bit, and I like the idea of developing junior partners and senior partners. I've talked about that to some other people, which is, I think, the next evolution of building teams. So the whole team structure, I don't know who exactly started with, it might have been Craig, whatever, 30 odd years ago. But I think that we're going to see an evolution. And the idea that I've come up with is junior partners and senior partners. Basically, it's a junior partner would evolve into a senior partner based on certain levels of productivity. Could be development of the farm, that sort of thing. And then they in turn would evolve once they hit a certain threshold of GCI to a senior partner and go out and identify the next junior partner to join the team and share in the rainmaker's profitability from that junior partner. I don't know if you follow what I'm trying to say. So in other words, if I was the rainmaker and Wei joined my team as a junior partner, I might say, okay, Wei, when you hit $150,000 in GCI, and I'm going to help you hit that through farming a particular area or whatever the case may be. I'm going to teach you systems and models, and then once you achieve that, you're going to now graduate to be a senior partner. And by virtue of being a senior partner, you're going to go out and find the next junior partner. That might be Colin. So then Colin joins our team. You train Colin on our ways, and we're going to share in the Rainmaker split for the junior partner. So you can actually leverage out the team in a very different way. I think that's going to be the evolution of team building. But the guys, I think, summed up the splits quite accurately. I get to see them all, you know, owning the brokerage, and they do really vary. And they are circumstantial, and there's the numbers you heard are pretty accurate.
All right. Well, is there any other pressing question need to ask? It's 9:45. We've kept you guys. Thank you very much for your patience. We've run long. Hold on. So we thank you guys for coming very much. Nobody lit on fire and burnt up. And thank you to you gentlemen very much for your time. Really, it was awesome.
Thank you guys for their time. For you, it's a gift card to give to your girlfriend. Yes, you're welcome. For Andrew, you already have enough money with that $1 million award, but you get something else anyways. And Jay, it's a harmonica for our new band.
Thanks, Jay. Thank you, man.
My pleasure.
Andrew, thanks, brother. Really nice to